Hello pioneers around the world. Welcome back to Pi Network Updates, your source for the latest Pi news, updates, and community discussions. Let's jump right into today's update.
Pi App Studio has been quietly becoming one of the most interesting parts of the Pi ecosystem, a tool that lets anyone build and deploy apps to 60 million users using AI, no deep coding required. This week, it got two significant upgrades, persistent backend storage and an AI-assisted app planning phase. Today, we break down exactly what changed, why it matters, and what it means for the kind of apps that can now be built on Pi. What is Pi App Studio? For anyone new to this, Pi App Studio is Pi Network's AI-assisted app creation tool. It allows creators, vibe coders, and developers to build apps that deploy directly into the Pi ecosystem, where they can be discovered and used by Pi's global community of 60 million pioneers. The appeal is distribution. Building an app is one thing. Getting users is the hard part. Pi App Studio shortcuts that by connecting creators directly to an existing engaged user base, with built-in infrastructure for payments, identity, and advertising already integrated. Until this update, however, there was a meaningful limitation. Apps built on Pi App Studio were essentially front-end only, single-session experiences. The problem before this update: single session means exactly what it sounds like. Every time a user left an app and came back, they started from scratch. Game progress disappeared. To-do lists reset. Notes vanished. Preferences had to be re-entered every visit. For casual, one-time use tools, that's manageable. But for anything that benefits from continuity, productivity apps, games with progression, note-taking tools, habit trackers, learning apps, single-session design is a fundamental limitation. It prevents the kind of everyday utility that makes users return to an app repeatedly. That limitation is now removed. Update 1. Persistent storage. Pi App Studio now enables persistent storage for newly created apps, meaning apps can save and retrieve user-specific data across sessions. The practical impact is significant. A game app can now maintain a user's high score after they leave. A productivity app can remember an ongoing to-do list. A note-taking app preserves saved notes automatically. A learning app can track progress across multiple study sessions. Any app that benefits from remembering a user now has the infrastructure to do that. Pi describes this as a significant App Studio platform milestone, and that framing makes sense. Persistent storage is the first capability built on a new backend infrastructure layer. That word "first" is worth noting. It signals that more backend capabilities are coming beyond just storage. One important clarification: this update only applies to newly created apps. Existing App Studio apps built before this release are not automatically upgraded. Update 2. App Planning Phase. The second update is an AI-assisted app planning phase that runs before App Studio actually generates the app. Previously, a creator would describe their app idea and App Studio would immediately begin building. The quality of the output depended heavily on how detailed and clear that initial prompt was, which is a significant barrier for creators who have a general idea but haven't fully thought through the specifics. The planning phase changes that dynamic. Before generation begins, App Studio engages the creator in a more interactive process, asking for more detail about the app's main idea, goal, category, and intended user experience. It guides creators from a rough concept toward a more complete, well-defined app specification. The result is a more thorough prompt going into the generation phase, which directly improves the quality of the app that comes out the other side. This matters both for the creator and for the end users who will actually use the app. Why these two updates work together? These two updates address different parts of the same problem: app quality. The planning phase improves quality at the creation stage, helping creators build apps that are better conceived from the start. Persistent storage improves quality at the user experience stage, enabling apps that are genuinely useful over time rather than just in a single visit. Together, they close a meaningful gap between apps built on Pi App Studio and professionally developed apps. The infrastructure is becoming sophisticated enough that the limiting factor is increasingly the creator's idea, not the platform's capabilities. The bigger picture: Zoom out, and this fits into a pattern we've been tracking across Pi's recent releases. Pi is building a platform where external developers and vibe coders can bring apps to 60 million users with minimal friction. The Vibe Coder campaign actively recruited AI app builders. Seed-Eye Games proved organic traction is real. Directory staking gives apps a community-backed discovery mechanism. And now App Studio can produce apps that are genuinely persistent and better planned from the start. Each update reduces a reason for a developer to say, "not yet." The platform is becoming harder to dismiss. The honest caveats remain. 60 million pioneers is Pi's headline number, but the subset who actively engage with new apps, spend Pi, and return repeatedly is smaller. Developers building on Pi App Studio will need to validate that for their own use cases. The persistent storage update also only covers new apps. Creators with existing App Studio apps will need to rebuild if they want the backend benefits, which adds friction. But the trajectory is clear. Pi App Studio is becoming a more capable platform with each release. Pi App Studio now has AI-assisted planning and persistent back-end storage. For anyone thinking about building on Pi, the barriers just got lower and the ceiling just got higher. If you're a creator or developer watching this, it's worth opening Pi App Studio and running through the new planning phase just to see how it works. What kind of app would you build on Pi if you could reach 60 million users? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more Pi ecosystem breakdowns.